Nothing but static now. How about now? How about now? How about now? I can just do the hand. Oh, hello. Hello. Hello again. Hello again. And now a reading from Job. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind. Oh, wait, before we get to that. So as Andrew explained, this is the story of Job, with God calling Job a righteous man and giving permission for the Satan character to ruin Job's life. You been there? Disaster after disaster, creating crisis, causing havoc. Job goes through every emotion that you would expect from someone freaking out. Shock, disbelief, anger, sadness, frustration. Job actually spends 37 chapters on an emotional roller coaster. And now we find Job asking a universal and timeless question. Why? Why me? Why this? Why now? Why God? Good questions. I've asked myself those same questions when I've been feeling blindsided by bad news. Can anyone relate? So here we are in chapter 38. God finally speaks out, rather forcefully, I might add.
Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? I will question you, and you shall declare to me. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you know. Who measured it out? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together and all of heaven shouted for joy. Where were you when?
Is God seriously shaming Job here? I mean, after all that he went through, is God asking Job, where were you? If it were me, I would be asking God, where was God? Where were you, God? Where were you when the illness hit? When tragedy struck? When I lost my family and my friends? Where were you then? I know that feeling. Where was I? I was busy trying to figure it out. How bad things happen to good people. Trying to figure out why me. Trying to figure out how to fix it. Because I must have done something wrong, right? Isn't that the math? The calculation, you reap what you sow, you've heard that. Plant a carrot, you're supposed to get a carrot. Not plant a carrot and get cancer. Some years ago, I was given a recipe card. A recipe for a good life. 1 cup, hard work. 2 cups, solid education. Half cup, persistence. 2 tablespoons of goodwill. Bake for 30 or 40 years on medium to mostly high heat. Then you eventually let it cool. And as you serve it, a good life. Oh, for extra flavoring, add 1 loving and supportive partner, then bake for 50 to 60 years. Sometimes also on high heat. And you get a happy life. Like Job, I was too given a recipe card to follow, and I followed it. But it didn't taste right. Something was off. Can you relate to that? You do it right, and wrong still happens? You think you're baking up a happy, healthy life, and then something or someone throws in an unexpected illness in the mix, or an accident, or a breakup, or a devastating loss, or finding out you're gay, or your kid's transgender. Any number of things that suddenly make life a little harder. But that doesn't stop you, it didn't stop me, from doing everything in my power to fix it, to turn it around. Pinch of patience, a cup of prayer. It's not working. Why is it not working?
Where were you when
Can you just stop?
Where were you when I created the earth, poured the foundation, set the cornerstone while the chorus of angels sang? I ordered the morning to get up and told the dawn, get to work, just so you could seize the earth, hold it like a blanket and shake out everything wicked. Do you have any idea how expansive this universe is? These things don't just happen. You know why I keep asking, where were you when?
No.
To call you out of your delusion really, that there's some sort of recipe or formula to having a good and happy life. There's no trick to it. It's just life, and it can't be contained in a mixing bowl. It comes to you. It comes at you. It surrounds you and startles you and surprises you, shocks you and terrifies you, wakes you up and lulls you to sleep. It delights you and angers you and disappoints you and stresses you. It's life. And I see you trying to crack the code or figure out how to make it more fair or more comfortable. It's just life, and it's messy and it's beautiful, and I'm with you in all of it. Where were you when what? When you finally realized that I am God and you are not.
I went out for a run on a hiking trail. I used to go through a run through the woods when I got angry and frustrated. In 2015, I was angry and frustrated a lot, which meant I was in the best physical shape of my life because I ran a lot. But spiritually, I was a mess. I was in a pretty toxic relationship, and I knew I needed to be out of there. I knew I needed God. I knew I needed to return to God. Just like the prodigal son. You know that moment when he's face down in the pig slop, and he realizes his life is wrecked, all because he left home, and it would just be better if he went home. But then going home would mean that you have to swallow your pride and ask for help. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. So instead, I would run. You know what's harder than being miserable? What's harder than being miserable? Changing. You ever notice that? Changing is harder than being miserable. Maybe that's why I stayed miserable for so long. True story. But then there was this one day, I just stopped running. I literally stopped running. I literally fell, like as if I was tripping on something, but I wasn't. I hit my knees, landed on the ground, and started crying, screaming, really. It was a very dramatic Job moment, actually.
Where were you
when I realized you never left me? You were with me the whole time. I thought you left me, or I left you. But it was that run in the woods when I realized you never left. You were always there, running with me, walking with me on this journey with me. Good gonna come, good gonna go, but you never leave.
Where were you
when I finally started trusting you really did make me in your image? When I finally stopped being so darn angry and defensive and started trusting you so loved the world. And that includes me. I resonate with Job's story. Maybe you do too. So busy screaming, life's not fair, I stopped living it. But life's a journey. That's why I love that we call this creative, interactive, what Kathy and Linda call weird church, this journey worship. It's a time when we recognize God's presence is with us here and now, walking with us on this journey. In just a few moments, we're going to invite you to go on a journey through this space. Wherever you are on your physical, emotional, and spiritual journey, God journeys with you. Yes?
Yes.
Bad gonna come, bad gonna go. God journeys with you. At the back table, the blessing and baptism table, we invite you to journey there, to remember your baptism. Remember God coming to you and blessing you. Then receive a blessing of hands, the ones that you will serve with your neighbor. And receive a hug from Pastor Sue. I highly recommend it. As she shares God's love with you, for you to receive it and then share God's love with the world this week. At the other back table, God's image station. You will see a mirror there. We are told so many lies about our image. Stupid social media. We hear early on that we're not this, or you gotta look like that. We invite you to journey there and write on that board what you have heard the world say that you need to be or you're not enough. And then on the other side, write what you think and believe God says about you and your image. Fearfully and wonderfully made. And then notice the comparison. Who would you rather believe? Pastor Mindy mentioned the comic book Adult Chapel for some quiet time to sit and reflect. And at that table is the Love Note table, yeah? At that table we started Love Notes and we started posters on our Family Fun Friday night a couple of nights ago. We invite you to continue writing Love Notes because you heard part of my story, absolutely true story. The reason I was in that awful, terrible relationship, because I left God, because I believed when I learned that I was gay, that God could never love me. And so I ran. And I ran to someone as far away from God as possible. And it took 15 years. I knew 14 and a half, I knew 6 months into it that it was a pretty rotten, not healthy for either of us relationship. It took 14 and a half years to get the courage to change. And that took turning to God, swallowing my pride, and saying, I'm sorry. I did not trust you. So when I write my confession, I don't write my confession that I'm sinful and gay and blah, blah, blah. I write my confession that one time along the way, I stopped believing you and started hearing that. And I'm sorry for that. Because you never left me, and you created me exactly as I am. Exactly who you intended me to be. And there are kids and adults and parents out there that we're going to meet on Saturday at the festival and the parade that need to hear that you are beautiful and wonderfully made. And whoever tells you that you're an abomination does not come from the voice and the heart of God. Is that true? That's not the voice and the heart of God. We are created in God's image, and God is love, full stop. So, if you have that in your heart to share a note of love to someone, it will, with God's help, change their world. Because the one time when I would go to Pride Parade, not in church, it was in Atlanta, Georgia, bawled like a baby every time I saw a church or a P flag go by. Every time we show up, who's been with us to Pride? Is it also true? Every time, Alice, we walk through and it says Lutherans are here, people just cry. Crying out to feel and need to know they are loved. And I cannot wait to be there. If you want to join us, please do. Let me know. At this table, we will have signs because we cannot touch and love and hug and kiss 800,000 people all at once. So while we're passing out love notes, we're also going to be holding up signs. And Tom, is he in the room, Ham, or is he out at Children's Chapel? Has already started some really awesome signs. So if you get a chance, go by, and we're going to hold those posters up that you write for us today. Have I left anything out? What a day this is. Thank you for being here. You are loved. Amen.
So how we will move to stations is you will first be invited to communion. And so